Okay, so good afternoon to all. So we have started unit number 3 discussion from last couple of lectures, and we have also covered Barkhausen criteria. And in last session, we have seen the RC phase shift oscillator. So in this particular session, we will discuss about transistor crystal oscillator, or generally it is also called as only crystal oscillator. Okay. So from the discussion so far, we have understood that oscillators are nothing but electronic devices or electronic circuits which will give you sinusoidal oscillations at the output, right? Or the main function of oscillator is to convert DC power into AC oscillations. So these 2 points you should remember. Now, before discussing the particular crystal oscillator, this piezoelectric effect you should know. It is very important. What do you mean by piezoelectric effect? And similarly, the inverse of that will be inverse piezoelectric effect. So the word piezoelectric, the word piezo is having its root in Greek language. So basically, piezo stands for to squeeze or to press something, right? So what is piezoelectric effect? That when certain crystalline materials, mainly these crystalline materials are nothing but quartz, okay, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline. So these three materials are very important and abundantly used in piezoelectric devices. So when certain crystalline materials such as quartz, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline are compressed or placed under mechanical strain to vibrate, then they produce AC voltage. So this particular is called as this phenomena is called as piezoelectric effect. It is what is happening here. So this is the diagram which is used to show what exactly is a piezoelectric effect. Suppose this cylindrical shape is nothing but your crystal, and you are applying or you are pressing external force on this crystal. Okay, so these red arrows are nothing but your it is the indication of that you are applying external force. So when you are applying external force to the crystal, then what will happen? And if you measure the voltage across it, then some amount of voltage will be induced across it due to the application of external forces. It is due to pressing your crystal, that is piezo is nothing but to press. When you press your crystal, the electricity is generated, right? So this is called as piezoelectric effect. So generally this induced voltage is nothing but a AC voltage. Okay, I hope this is clear to you now. When you press the crystal or apply any mechanical strength or to the crystal, it will generate some voltage. That is, some voltage will be induced across it. So this effect is called as piezoelectric effect. Now, what will be the inverse piezoelectric effect? It will be totally inverse of this particular piezoelectric effect. यहाँ पे क्या होता था? In this piezoelectric effect, you are providing external force and the result was induced voltage. Now, what is the inverse piezoelectric effect? That when you apply a AC signal to the crystal, now you are applying AC signal. Here, AC signal was generated, right? But what will happen at the inverse piezoelectric effect? You are applying AC signal to the crystal, and when you apply AC signal with some frequency, let's say the frequency of AC signal is 50 hertz, then what you will observe that this crystal will start vibrating as a result of the application of this voltage, AC voltage. So these vibrations are nothing but your frequency. It is generating a frequency. So what will be the frequency of this crystal? This frequency will be same as the applied voltage frequency. So what is inverse piezoelectric effect? When an AC voltage is applied across certain crystalline materials such as quartz, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline, they start vibrating with the frequency of applied voltage. Okay, so these two effects you should remember. Piezoelectric effect means when you apply external forces, the voltage will be induced, AC voltage will be induced. And inverse piezoelectric effect means when you are applying voltage, the crystal starts vibrating with a frequency that is nothing but equals to the frequency of your applied voltage. Is it clear? Now we will discuss about the crystal oscillator. So crystal oscillators operate basically on the principle of inverse piezoelectric effect. Okay, that's why we have discussed this piezoelectric effect and inverse piezoelectric effect prior to this discussion. So your crystal oscillator will operate on the principle of inverse piezoelectric effect. That means we will apply some voltage with having some frequency to the crystal, and hence crystal will start oscillating. Okay. The principle of inverse piezoelectric effect, in which an alternating voltage is applied across crystal surface, causes it to vibrate to its natural frequency. These oscillators are usually made of quartz crystal, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline. Okay. So out of these three, this is just for your information: quartz, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline. Rochelle salt is having a very good piezoelectric property. Out of quartz, Rochelle salt, and tourmaline, Rochelle salt is having very good piezoelectric property, but we are not using it. Why? Because its strength is very poor. If you use it, then it may get torn into pieces. It is very weak in terms of strength. On the other hand, out of these three, tourmaline has a poor, means tourmaline has very poor piezoelectric effect, but the strength of tourmaline is very large. Okay, so what we have done, we have used the piezoelectric, we have negotiated this piezoelectric effect and this strength, and we have found out one immediate intermediate compound or material, which is quartz. So quartz is having piezoelectric effect in between Rochelle salt and tourmaline. Similarly, quartz, the strength of quartz is also in between Rochelle salt and tourmaline. So this is how we have managed, and we generally use quartz crystal in maximum crystal oscillator. Okay. So now in crystal oscillators, so this is the practical. This is how practically crystal crystal oscillator looks like. If you observe the Arduino board or फिर microprocessor board अगर आपने observe किया होगा. Yes.
Sir, repeat principle of inverse.
Inverse piezoelectric effect. Okay. I will just repeat once more time. It's very simple actually. What is inverse piezoelectric effect? That when you are applying, so in order to understand inverse piezoelectric effect, you should understand piezoelectric effect first. So what was piezoelectric effect? When you apply external force, the voltage will be induced, that will be generated. Now inverse will be inverse of that. So when you are giving applied voltage externally, AC signal is suppose provided you are here, then this crystal will starts oscillating with some frequency. Okay, so it is nothing but inverse piezoelectric effect. Your crystal is starting to oscillate after the application of AC signal. So this is nothing but a inverse piezoelectric effect. All right. So So in crystal oscillators, the crystal is suitably cut and mounted between two metallic plates. So this is how practically a crystal oscillator looks like. Suppose if you have observed the microprocessor board or microcontroller board or Arduino board, then there it is crystal oscillator used there. Okay. Anyway, this is the symbol of your quartz crystal or crystal oscillator. So maximum times quartz material is only used in a crystal. Okay. So now here you can observe that this crystal, this rectangular part is nothing but a crystal oscillator. It is placed between two metallic contacts. These two vertical lines are nothing but a metallic contact. Okay. So this is how the structure of or the symbol of your quartz crystal looks like. So it is suitably cut and mounted between two metallic plates. So these are the metallic plates, as whose electrical equivalent is shown in the figure. And this is the electrical equivalent of this crystal. Okay. Now you can observe here that in this figure there are few components such as CS, LS and RS. That means capacitance, inductor and resistance. These are in series, so that's why the subscript called as S. You can read it as series capacitance, series inductance and series resistance. Similarly, what happens due to these two metallic plates? Uh, this capacitance will be also generated and it will be parallel to these three series components. So this parallel component is called as parallel capacitor. This is series capacitor, series inductor and series resistor. So this is the equivalent circuit of this here quartz crystal. Okay. In reality, crystal behaves like series RLC circuit formed by the components. These are the components. So generally RS is low valued resistor, LS is large value inductor and capacitor is small valued capacitor, which will be in parallel with the capacitance of its electrodes. So these metallic plates are nothing but the electrodes. They are also called as electrodes. So CP is in parallel with the series components and it is due to these metallic plates. Okay. Now what happens due to the presence of CP, that is parallel capacitor? What happens due to parallel capacitor? The crystal will resonate at two different frequencies. First frequency will be series resonant frequency and second will be parallel resonant frequency. You might have studied what is resonance and what is series resonance and parallel resonance. Okay. So due to this capacitor CP, अगर CP नहीं होता यहाँ पे, so there was no parallel component was present. So that's why only series resonance was there. But now here, due to this CP, what will happen? There will be series resonance due to these components and parallel resonance due to CP. Okay. So we will get two different resonant frequencies. Means your crystal will oscillate around that frequency. So two resonant frequencies will be there. First one is series resonant frequency. So series resonant frequency is denoted by F suffix S. Okay, so strength. Someone have just asked me about the. Okay, 1 second. So I have just explained you the concept of there are mainly three materials: quartz crystal, रोशेल सॉल्ट एंड टर्मलाइन. इन तीनों में से सबसे ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंथ रहती है टर्मलाइन की, उससे कम क्वार्ट्ज की और उससे कम रोशेल सॉल्ट की. बट पीजो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रॉपर्टी जो रहती है वो सबसे अच्छी रहती है रोशेल सॉल्ट की, उसके बाद क्वार्ट्ज और उसके बाद टर्मलाइन. लेकिन व्हाट इज द डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ यूजिंग रोशेल सॉल्ट? The strength is very weak. It is very weak. Strength is very poor. And what is the disadvantage associated with tourmaline? Though it is having a maximum strength, its piezoelectric property is poor. So what we have done, we have choose the intermediate material. It is having medium strength and medium piezoelectric property as well. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just for your information. You can note it down. Then again, talking about now, due to presence of CP, there will be two resonant frequencies will be there, which is given by series resonance frequency, which is given by F suffix S. It will be equals to 1 divided by 2 pi under root Ls into Cs. So you can observe here, these components are the series components, and this frequency is due to series components, that is series resonant frequency. Okay, so at this stage the crystal impedance will be least. So this is the property of series resonance, that as series resonance, what happens, the impedance of your circuit becomes very minimum, means it is the minimum, and the output or current or voltage will be maximum. Impedance आपका minimum हो जाता है at series resonance. Okay, so this is the property of series resonance. You might have studied it in 11th, 12th, or in your basic electronics course. So due to this minimum impedance or less impedance, what happens? Now, what do you mean by impedance? So again, remember this concept, that resistance offered by the resistor is called as resistance itself. Opposition offered by resistance is called as resistance. Okay, opposition offered by this inductor or capacitor, it is called as reactance. These three words are very important. Opposition offered by resistor is called as resistance. Opposition offered by inductor or capacitor is called as reactance, and the total opposition, that is opposition due to resistance and opposition due to reactance, is called as impedance. It is denoted by Z. Okay, so again you should remember this. Also, since in our circuit there are capacitor, inductor and resistor as well, so that's why we will use the term impedance, that means total opposition, that is opposition due to resistor, opposition due to inductor and capacitor as well. सिर्फ अगर रेजिस्टर ही रहता सर्किट में, देन वी वुड हैव कॉल्ड इट एज रेजिस्टेंस ओनली. अगर रेजिस्टेंस नहीं रहता, कैपेसिटर और इंडक्टर रहता आपके सर्किट में, देन वी वुड हैव कॉल्ड इट एज रिएक्टेंस ओनली. बट नाउ resistor as well as capacitor and inductor is also present, so in total it will be called as impedance. All right, so at this stage what happens, crystal impedance will be minimum or least, and hence amount of feedback will be the largest. So we will see that what do you mean by feedback. A mathematical expression for the same is given as by this formula. Using this formula you can calculate series resonant frequency. Now again there is one more frequency there, that is parallel resonant frequency. So it is denoted by F suffix P. So Fp, that is parallel resonant frequency, is exhibited when the reactance of the LSCS equals to the reactance of the parallel capacitance Cp. Okay, that means Ls and Cs resonates with Cp. So just remember like this, that parallel resonant circuit, parallel resonant frequency is due to these components LSCS and Cp. Okay, series was only due to Ls and Cs, series capacitor and series inductor. But here the parallel resonance is due to the parallel capacitor, series capacitor and inductor, series inductor as well. Now at this instance what happens, this is parallel resonance. So In series resonance, impedance was minimum. So what will happen here? Opposite. So in parallel resonance, the crystal impedance will be the highest or maximum, and thus the feedback will be minimum. And this is the mathematical formula for Fs and Fp. Okay. So now what are the takeaway points from this slide is, you must remember this diagram, equivalent circuit diagram, which is very important. And what happens due to presence of Cp in your circuit, there will be two resonant frequencies. First one will be series resonant frequency, which is given by this formula, and second one will be parallel resonant frequency, given by this formula. Okay, these two frequency, why two frequencies are there? Due to the presence of Cp, parallel capacitor. And why parallel capacitor is there? Since due to these metallic plates or electrodes, these vertical lines, जिसके बीच में आपने क्रिस्टल माउंट किया है ना, ये दो वर्टिकल प्लेट्स की वजह से, क्योंकि आपको पता होगा कैपेसिटर मतलब जब भी दो प्लेट रहते हैं and some electric forces are applied to it, then it will generate capacitance. All right. Now this diagram is also important. So this is basically a graph between frequency and impedance. Z is nothing but impedance offered by your circuit. That is equivalent circuit. This equivalent circuit. Impedance offered by this equivalent circuit. Right. So you can observe there are two resonant frequencies. So resonant frequency is nothing but this is series resonant frequency. At this frequency you can observe the Z is minimum. The value of Z is minimum. Right. Impedance is minimum. And this is parallel resonant frequency. At this particular frequency, the value of Z is maximum. For less than, when your frequency is less than Fs, your crystal will act as a capacitive. The nature of your crystal will be capacitive. When it is in between Fs and Fp, the nature of your crystal will be inductive. And again, when the frequency is greater than parallel resonant frequency, again it will be capacitive. So this nature you should remember, and this graph is also you need to draw. If the question has been asked regarding the explain working of crystal oscillator, then you need to explain this graph also. Okay. So the behavior of the crystal will be capacitive both below Fs, this region below Fs, and above Fp, that is this region. So for these both regions, what will be the behavior of your crystal? That behavior will be capacitive in nature, right? However, for the frequencies which lie in between Fs and above Fp, this is wrong. This should not be above. Okay, so this should be, however, for the frequencies which lie in between Fs and Fp. I will just make the correction. This should not be there above. Okay. Now this is correct. So for the frequencies which lie in between Fs and Fp, now this is the region between Fs and Fp. So between this region, the behavior of your crystal is inductive. Okay. Hence, a crystal can be viewed as a combination of series and parallel tuned resonant circuits, due to which one needs to tune the circuit for any one among the two. Now, what it means that from this particular graph, you can tell that your circuit will have two different resonating frequency. First resonating frequency will be series resonating frequency, and second resonating frequency is nothing but parallel resonating frequency. So you can use any one out of these two. Okay, either you can use series resonating frequency, means आपका क्रिस्टल कौन कितने फ्रीक्वेंसी से ऑसिलेट होगा, है ना. आपको क्या चाहिए एट द आउटपुट? एट द आउटपुट यू शुड गेट सस्टेन्ड ऑसिलेशंस. तो ये जो ऑसिलेशंस प्रोड्यूस होंगे, वॉट एवर विल बी द ऑसिलेशंस एट द आउटपुट, then that oscillations will be, you can design it in at two different values. एक तो आप you can oscillate your output, you can oscillate your crystal at series resonant frequency, or you can oscillate your crystal at parallel resonant frequency. Okay, and always remember one thing, that parallel resonant frequency will be higher than series resonant frequency. This is the again point to be noted. Okay, so just a superficial study related to the crystal oscillator is given in your syllabus. So this graph you should remember, and this Fs, denotion of Fs and Fp is also very important. Now we will see circuits for the crystal oscillator. This is all about the equivalent circuit, electrical circuit of crystal oscillator, right? So what we have done so far, we have found out that we generally use quartz crystal. So this quartz crystal is nothing but electrical equivalent of this quartz crystal is nothing but a circuit with series components and parallel component, one parallel component. So due to this parallel component, this crystal can be oscillate with two frequencies. One is series resonant frequency and second one is parallel resonant frequency. The derivation is given here. Now we have understood that you can use your crystal in any one of these frequencies. But always remember that parallel resonant frequency will be greater than series resonant frequency. Now, if you are using your crystal in series resonant frequency to oscillate it in series resonant frequency, then you need to design your circuit like this. So diagram A is nothing but a series resonance. It is circuit for series resonance, whereas circuit diagram B is for parallel resonance. Okay, if you are using your crystal to vibrate in series resonance circuit, then you need to connect this crystal in this fashion, whereas if you want your crystal to oscillate with the parallel resonant frequency, then you need to connect your crystal in this fashion. So these are two different circuit diagrams. Okay, so crystal oscillators can be designed by connecting the crystal into the circuit such that it offers low impedance when operated in series resonance mode. Okay, this is the series resonance mode, and high impedance when operated in anti-resonant or parallel resonant mode, that is figure B. So these two circuits also you should remember. Now you can write down the circuit description for these two circuit diagrams. Now circuit description is nothing but you have to just describe what you are observing here. Like there is a potential divider network between R1 and R2, right? Crystal is connected between collector terminal of your transistor and base terminal. This is CC stands for coupling capacitor. This C stands for emitter capacitor, or many times it is also called as bypass capacitor. So any capacitor, what will the function of any capacitor? To block DC and to allow AC, because nowhere we want DC. We want oscillations at the output, so that's why we only want AC. Now RFC stands for radio frequency coil. So in many cases जितने भी अपने डायग्राम्स पढ़े हैं, वी हैव सीन द सर्किट डायग्राम ऑफ potential divider method, right, in unit number 1. So here it was generally use करते हैं collector resistor, it is R suffix C. We use collector resistor, but now here we have used RFC. Okay, so again it has one advantage, we will see that. So in this way you can describe your circuit. So in the circuits shown, the resistor R1 and R2 form the voltage divider network, while emitter resistor Re, it is used for stabilize the circuit. So these are just additional points regarding your circuit description. Further, Ce, that is emitter capacitor, acts as a AC bypass capacitor, while coupling capacitor Cc is used to block DC signal. Okay, I have already mentioned it. The capacitors C1 and C2 form the capacitive voltage divider network in case of figure B. So this point is mentioning this. You can here observe that in figure B, C1 and C2 are nothing but forming potential divider arrangement or potential divider network. In addition, there is also radio frequency coil, that is RFC. You can observe radio frequency coil here in place of collector resistor, here also RFC. What is the use of radio frequency coil? It provides DC biasing as well as it frees the output from being affected by the AC signal on the power line. जो भी आपके आउटपुट में अगर AC सिग्नल अफेक्ट हो रहे, अगर AC सिग्नल आ गए आपके आउटपुट पे, देन दैट में हार्म योर ऑसिलेशंस, राइट, क्योंकि एट द आउटपुट यू विल गेट AC ऑसिलेशंस एंड इफ एक्सटर्नल noise is added there, then that noise is particularly removed by this RFC. So this is the dual advantage of RFC, is radio frequency coil. Means at the one end it is also giving us proper DC biasing, and also it is freeing the output of being affected by the AC signal on the power line. So these are the dual advantages offered by radio frequency coils. Okay. On supplying the power to oscillator, the amplitude of oscillations in the circuit increases until the loop gain equals to unity. Now this point is talking about the Barkhausen criteria. So when you supply the power to oscillator, what will happen? The amplitude of oscillation will increase until when? Until when the loop gain equals to unity, that is mod of A beta equals to 1. So when A beta equals to 1, what will happen? Then the phase condition will be satisfied. Now the interesting point about this, that you don't have to do anything externally to adjust the phase. Okay, so this crystal oscillator will self adjust its phase so as to facilitate the crystal to present a reactance to a circuit such that Barkhausen's phase requirement is fulfilled. Means crystal oscillator will self adjust in such a way that the second condition in Barkhausen criteria, that is phase condition, is automatically satisfied. Okay, so this point is basically talking about the Barkhausen criteria. The typical operating range of the crystal oscillator is 40 kilohertz to 100 megahertz. Okay, so this is the range, means whatever oscillations you are getting at the output of crystal oscillator, the frequency range will vary from 40 kilohertz to 100 megahertz. And generally we do not use RC oscillators, we don't use LC oscillator also, But in many practical applications, such as in computers, in laptops, in mobiles, crystal oscillators is only we are using. Okay, so one of the advantage of crystal oscillator is it is very stable. Means the output oscillations you are getting, they are very stable as compared to RC oscillators and LC oscillators. Right, I have already mentioned the category classification of oscillators. I will just go to that PPT. Okay, so now between LC oscillators and RC oscillators, there are many LC oscillators and RC oscillators, but all of these provides some problems in the stabilization. Means the stability of the oscillations are somewhat affected. In dono say, that is from crystal oscillator is better, it is more stable than RC oscillator as well as LC oscillator. And generally in your mobile or in your laptop or computer or microprocessor, crystal oscillators are only used. Okay, you should remember this. Now this is the last point of our discussion, that is merits and demerits of the crystal oscillator. So whatever first 5 points, these are having a text color as black text color. So these 5 points are merits, that is advantages of crystal oscillator. And point number 6, 7, 8, which are given different color, brown color. So these are demerits of your crystal oscillator. So now what are the merits? The frequency of oscillations generated is unaffected by the variations in the supply voltage and transistor parameters. This is very important advantage. So the frequency of oscillations is remain unaffected, means even if your supply voltage is varying or transistor parameters are varying, then it is not affecting the frequency of oscillations. That means you are getting a constant oscillations, stabilized oscillations. Okay. Then second is crystal oscillators exhibit high Q factor. Now Q factor is nothing but called as quality factor. Q stands for quality factor. From the name itself you can imagine that how should be this quality factor for any circuit or for any component. This quality should be always high. High quality factor ensures the high quality of your component or your device. Okay, so second advantage is crystal oscillators exhibit high quality factor. Obviously these all advantage will be over RC oscillators and LC oscillators, always remember. Then third is it has excellent frequency stability. Yes, we have discussed this. Crystal oscillators are compact in size and are of low cost. So this is another advantage. So what happens many times in RC and LC oscillators, what happens when you are working in the low frequency, the size of the RC circuits or inductor will become large, that is bulky. When you are working at the small frequency range, your LC and RC circuit will become bulky. So that's why this is another disadvantage of RC and LC oscillators. But it is in terms of crystal oscillators, the crystal oscillators are very small in size, very compact in size. है ना, कॉम्पैक्ट है इसीलिए तो आपके मोबाइल लैपटॉप में वो यूज हो रहा है. Okay. Then fifth is they are extensively used in microcontrollers, GPS, that is global positioning system, computers and mobiles, that is smartphone. So these are all first five are nothing but the merits of your crystal oscillator. Now there are some merits, obviously there will be some merits. So 6, 7 and 8 are nothing but the demerits, means disadvantages. There will be advantages of any circuit and there will be disadvantages also. So what are the disadvantages? When too much of power delivered to the crystal, then crystal leads to unstable resonant frequency. Okay, when you are providing or you are giving too much power to the crystal, तो आपका crystal will give you unstable resonant frequencies. So instability will be there. Seventh is the output waveform might be distorted due to the degradation in its performance. So if your crystal oscillator is degraded in your performance, then what will happen? In that case, the output waveform will not be perfectly sine wave. It will be somewhat distorted. And then last one, it can even result in the destruction of device, that is crystal, due to overheat. Okay. So 6, 7 and 8 are nothing but demerits or disadvantage of crystal oscillators. Whereas first 5 are the advantages of crystal oscillator. So many times they can ask you that mention what are the merits and demerits of the crystal oscillator. So under this question you can write down this all 8 points. Okay. So this is the complete discussion regarding the crystal oscillator. I will just make it recap for one more time that what we have studied in this session. We have discussed what is piezoelectric effect and what is inverse piezoelectric effect, and we have understood that crystal oscillator works on inverse piezoelectric effect. And mainly crystalline materials used are quartz, Rochelle salt and tourmaline. And what is inverse piezoelectric effect? Then when you apply voltage AC source, when you apply across crystal, it will start vibrating with some frequency. Okay, and this frequency is given. There are two frequencies in which your crystal can vibrate. Why two frequencies are there? Because this is your electrical equivalent circuit of crystal, and in this electrical equivalent there is a parallel capacitor. Due to this parallel capacitor, what happens? There arises two resonating frequency. The first resonating frequency is series resonant frequency, which is given by this formula, and second parallel resonant frequency. Second resonant frequency is parallel resonant frequency. The mathematical expression for the parallel resonant frequency is this. Okay, you can use any one of them, so don't worry about it. This is again important graph between frequency. This is the graph between frequency and impedance of your crystal. So less than Fs and greater than Fp, your crystal will behave as a capacitor, that is, it is capacitive in nature. Whereas in between Fs and Fp, your crystal will act as a inductive. And always remember Fp is greater than Fs. Then since there were two resonating frequency, so you can use your crystal in two different circuits. You can connect your crystal depending on which resonating frequency you are using. So if you are using your crystal at series resonating frequency, then you have to connect your crystal like this. And if you are using your crystal in parallel resonance frequency, then you have to connect your crystal like this. Okay, then the circuit description of both these figures we have discussed on this particular slide. The operating range of crystal oscillator is in between 40 kilohertz to 100 megahertz. And finally we have ended our discussion regarding crystal oscillators by discussing the merits and demerits of the crystal oscillator. Okay, so I have told you that why we are going for the crystal oscillator, because RC oscillator and LC oscillator have the stability issue, but a crystal oscillator will give you stable oscillations, right? So Point number 1 to 5 are the advantages or merits of your crystal oscillator. And these crystal oscillators are extensively used in microcontrollers, laptops, computers, and smartphones. And point number 6, 7, 8 are nothing but the demerits or disadvantage of crystal oscillator. So in this way, the first part of your first section of your unit number 3 has been completed. If you are having any doubt in today's discussion regarding crystal oscillator, then you can ask me. Otherwise, we will conclude our session here. Thank you.